Recording, Madam CAO. Hang on, it sounded a lot better today, or we sounded better. All right, everybody, we're calling this meeting to order. We are sitting as council. It's Tuesday, January the 13th, 2026, and it is 5 p.m.
We will begin this meeting of council by acknowledging that we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Aboriginal peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Wendat, and Haudenosaunee people.
Thank you, sir. Item number 4.1 is the adoption of the agenda. It's moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crapper, that the agenda of the council meeting held on January the 13th, 2026 be adopted as presented. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Any declarations of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest? Seeing none, item number 6 is the adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Crapper, seconded by Councillor Card, that the minutes of the council meeting held on December 16th, 2025 be received and adopted. Any errors or omissions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Item 7.1 is a motion in relation to the asset management plan. And the recommendation is moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crapper. The council directs staff to include the funding for the asset management plan levels of service in the 2026 budget deliberations. Any discussion? I have no discussion. I just wanted to raise a point. There was a question asked by Councillor Crapper. So the information I am drawing on is in camera confidential information. But I wanted the public to know, because the question was, if we go single tier and we add those assets, what's the impact? And the facilitator who wrote the report has already taken that into consideration. Okay. Okay, yeah, good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
He did comment at length about that being an anomaly and an interesting twist
Yes.
for us.
But in the facilitator's report that we got from Tammy, it's all
Great.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, great. Anything else then? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. 7.2 is watercolor Westport street name proposals. And I'd just like to remind the public, our committee of the whole 2 weeks ago, or last week, we had some great debate on some of these topics. And when we find then when we come to council to actually pass the motions or the bylaws, there's not a lot of debate because we've had a rousing debate. If you're interested in hearing what the comments were, I encourage you to go onto our face page, our village website face page, and you can easily follow through to find the video of the committee of the whole. So we don't want you to think we're not looking at these in depth. We have great reports. We look at them in depth. We give it another week or two in case something comes up in the meantime. So this is in relation to the street naming. It's moved by Councillor Crapper, seconded by Councillor Card. The council approves the naming request from Landark for the following streets. Street A on their diagrams will now be called Eagle Crest Avenue, and Street B on their diagrams will now be called Steepleview Road. Any discussion, Councillor Crapper?
There was conversation about the idea of staff connecting with Mr.
Mhm.
Ralston about the historical
Yeah.
committee for future. I gotta say, I got 3 calls from people who really liked that
Good.
idea. And they stressed the importance of somehow resulting in some historical reflection and
Sure.
development. So that wasn't in the minutes, though.
It was direction to CAO, so we could. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, thank you through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I have touched base with Mr. Rolston and Kevin. And to see if in future they can communicate with Historical Advisory Committee at the very least. But what other public consultations they plan to undertake, which right now they don't. They just keep it internally as a team. I haven't heard back from them yet.
Okay,
Thanks.
good, thanks, Karen. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was just gonna be my follow-up, even to have community input, not necessarily just solely the historical committee,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it too late for that in this case?
I think it's too late in this case, but I think you could probably, we could maybe amend this motion. And the motion, because you moved it in very second, and it could be the following streets, and request this, so just go back to what we requested, and request our CAO ask Landark to consider public consultation in the future on the naming of streets to reflect some of the historical, some of our history. That help then? We'll get it recorded? Okay. Everybody all right with that amendment? You guys are okay? Then I'll call that question. All in favor? Carried. Alrighty, so that 7.3 is Town Hall feasibility study. And it's moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that council direct staff to bring back costing for detailed design and tendering for the Town Hall renovation project to the 2026 budget deliberations. Had a good discussion about that. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Staff report, a new report for you today is CAO's annual report. You've had a chance to review it. The motion is moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that council receive the report entitled Administration 2025 CAO's annual report for information purposes. Got any questions for the CAO? Go ahead, Martin.
In relation, great report, very helpful, and I sort of keep track of things that I hope to get a report back on, and they were all nicely included. I went back to the communications plan, and one of the things I'd like to put on the table is that the comms plan and our reality is that in truth, although we're doing better with Facebook, the website is our principal tool, and we haven't done much with it since I've been on council. I think we need to consider putting, having it included, and I'd like to see staff do some research in advance of budget deliberations. I think we need to invest the money in our website in order to have a website that's functional. So that maybe needs to be a motion, that we ask staff to include some detail in relation to costing of website renewal in the budget.
I can live with it. It's coming out of the report. It's not out of the blue. So you know, it's not on the agenda. So the Councillor Crapper has moved that staff research the cost of
A new website.
let's just call it new, and if it's less than new, then it'll be less money.
Yeah.
Okay. For purposes of budget discussions. Yeah, I agree with you. Somebody wants, so Joel second, I'm not, okay, that's good. Call the question, all in favor? Carried. Alrighty, building permit update, it's information purposes again, it's moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that council receives a report entitled Administration Building Permit Update Q4 for 2025 for information purposes. Any questions, comments?
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to open it. There's something in there about dollars that go to the where was it here, to Rita Lakes Township for open the stuff.
We know we know where you're at.
How does that work? So it's just a wash for us, right? We collect the money, we give it to them, and that's all there is involved in
Go
it.
ahead, you wanna probably give a little bit more than that.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. So currently, they retain and set all of the building permit fees. They're paid by the applicants of Westport, but the actual fees are kept by Rio Lakes for the building permits. Any planning processes and planning inquiries that need to be done for applicants, they have to pay the fee to us, and then we pay our consultants through that process. But all building permit fees are set and retained by Rio Lakes in exchange for their building services, for their CDO, their inspector, and the administrative services associated with that. But I can tell you that just looking at some of the numbers, and I think it was about 4 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, I think it was prior to me, staff was asked to do a review of bringing either an aspect or full building in-house. And it was never formally brought back to council, but that's part of the org review that the consultant's undertaking that will be brought back with the 2026 budget deliberations.
Okay, so before we debate the
Yeah.
budget, there's that
Excellent.
feasibility study that was done.
The org review, so the org review is going to be available to us.
Prior to,
Great, yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry, just to you, Madam Mayor, it will be an in-camera closed discussion because our staff complement is so small and can identify people.
Mhm.
But council will get it much in advance of the council
Super.
budget meeting or committee will meet, I'm not sure yet.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, but we will have it at least in our minds when we go to budget. Okay, so then it's, for information, I'll just call the question, all in favor, carried. Bylaws, 9.1, temporary borrowing bylaw. Of course, remember, this is one we do every year. So it's moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that bylaw 2026-01 being a bylaw for temporary borrowing by means of an operating line of credit and bank loan be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed the 13th day of January 2026. Let's call the question, all in favor, carried. 9.2, similarly, moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that bylaw 2026-02 being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy and the payment of interim taxes for the year 2026 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Carried. And Madam CEO, I suggest those two go into your onboarding package. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
In the public, why do we approve this and why do you need it? And now by year 4, we just know it's part of municipal government ease. Okay, 9.3, electronic voting. Moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that bylaw 2026-03, being a bylaw to authorize the use of electronic voting for the 2026 municipal election, and therefore enter into an agreement with IntelliVote Systems, Inc., be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 13th day of January 2026. Call the question, all in favor? Wanted to comment? I didn't get any feedback on that in the public, but just FYI. Doesn't mean it's a good thing or bad thing, I just didn't. Okay. We're at the confirmation bylaw.
You got notice of motion.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
I got a couple things to do, but.
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk slower. Notices of motion from anybody? Nice try, CAO. Announcements. When do we meet again? Before or after Family Day? Before, probably? You're okay, so. So
The next committee of the whole meeting is February 10th.
yeah, no, I mean. Okay, so we can talk about Family Day then? Yeah, okay. Alrighty, then, questions from the public or media, madam?
None.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that bylaw 2026-04 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings at its meeting held on January 6th, January 13th, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passes 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Carried. And we're adjourning, moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that this meeting of the Council of the Village of Westport be adjourned at 5:15 PM. All in favor?